Hello and welcome everyone to our fifth session of the Gilded Shadows, an Urban Shadows campaign. Urban Shadows, which is a system powered by the Apocalypse, which is this very 2d6 base system, which is all very rules light, and it's all with a big emphasis on drama and moves and having players feel the story. And so our setting here is in the year 2050 in Los Angeles, California. And so for our game, we can expect themes of, oh man, light gaslighting, leveraging people against each other. Yeah, just a bunch of getting back at one another and trying to get people
Emotional manipulation.
emotional
Probably.
manipulation. That's definitely a good one. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If it's your first time, welcome. We're about halfway through our first season here and we have a few players who are out absent. Jen notably moved to France, so.
Hon, hon, hon. My dear friend.
Indeed. So we wish her a bon voyage, and they will be back in 2 weeks again with us after they've gotten time to settle into their new surroundings, which is super exciting. But yes, and then of course Gen Con is this weekend, so for everyone who is going, please be safe, please wear a mask, and get tested and social distance and everything. But with that, we'll get this show on the road here. I am your storyteller this evening / MC, Sage.
Hi, I'm Becca, your chaotic Latina playing a chaotic fairy, Zev, who is trying to gain a soul.
Hi, everybody. I'm JB. Tonight, I am playing your immortal Hector Curio, who is currently throwing a gala that is going to be pretty difficult to pull off now, given our roster tonight. So stay tuned.
I love it. I'm still last. I am Paul Harpring, and I will be playing your mortal scholar, Eli.
Yeah, so before we get into our rumors and our sort of session rumors and schemes, let's have all of you give a recap of what happened last time.
Oh my, the things that happened. So many things happened last time.
One thing happened exactly.
Eli did one thing. So I know that there was, Hector was putting together his own machinations and preparing for this gala. So, JB, you should talk about that. I could talk about what, Eli and the rest of the folks that were with him could do. But yeah, you want to talk about your preparations first?
Sure. Previously, we saw Hector, who is an immortal living in Los Angeles on the cusp of his 70th birthday, who has not looked a day over 50 in hundreds of years. He has been tasked with throwing a fundraising gala for the upcoming mayoral candidate, who, Hector has learned, some of the local vampire gangs have a vested interest in. And though Hector has no idea why these vampire powers want this mayoral candidate to succeed, Hector is on the hook, as it were, because some of the paperwork meant to let him form a new identity and keep his vast fortune has been tied up by one of these vampire overseers. Hector has to pull off the fundraiser and find out if the mayoral candidate is everything they promise, and find if there's any dirt to be had on them to get a little bit more control moving forward.
Let's see. Becca, like fill in where I miss anything, because you were with Eli, but we had just discovered who was behind the theft, the coercion to take the vessel of transference from the Fey courts and turn it over to the vampires. And it was one Percy Brooks, who is perhaps one of the same vampire overseers that Hector is interested in as well. This Percy Brooks is a bad fella for more reasons than just the fact that they're a vampire. Mostly the fact that they instigate and support social or city ordinances that keep oppressed people oppressed, basically, as well as then takes advantage of those populations to lure their children, their young folks in to his coterie so that he can manipulate them further to his own ends. We track down a rough location of where their dwelling is. And then we went to a brother Eric, who is a member of Eli's arcane network.
That was one of the best parts because food. Zev was fed and clothed by some weird ladies who touched her a lot, but they didn't
Very
want
touchy.
anything from her. But it was a smorgasbord of food. So yeah, there's ordinances that are pushing folks to work as bartenders in these clubs. And Warren is head of the organization for the Outliers and all of this.
So we went to meet with Warren Bailey, who was one of the leaders of the Outliers, which is the group that assaulted the Vampire Club in our first episode. Warren Bailey had a conversation with Eli while the swap meet was going on and Zev was getting fed and clothed and everything else, this church swap meet. Eli then put on his business pants for a little bit, which he doesn't really like to put on. They kind of chafe, but when deals need to be done, he'll try to take care of business. So he convinced Warren Bailey to use their influence, the remaining influence on the Outliers, to push them onto Percy Brooks, to influence Percy's affairs for the negative. And Eli will provide some minor magical items to assist them in this endeavor, but is still on the hook for something further to Mr. Warren Bailey.
We convinced somebody to take on one last run. I believe.
Yeah, that was Bailey. Yeah,
okay, that was Bailey.
They're trying to get out after their visitation by Uriel a couple sessions ago, or during that first session, during that confrontation between the Outliers and the police outside of that club. Uriel went all angelic and caused Warren Bailey to have a change of heart, reconsideration, and try to get out of the game. So he had to be drawn back in to take this on.
Indeed, and since the Outliers are notably a human-only organization, and while most of them are fairly trained or at least experienced fighters, and with the promise of Eli's equipment that he would supply, still Warren was like, all right, Warren would have not considered it at all if Eli didn't, promise some sort of supernatural protection for marching on a potentially group of vampires. And so wanted that extra insurance that should anything go wrong afterwards, that he might have someone to fall back on to call in a favor for after, well, shit might go sideways. We'll see. We'll find out. And then with Jen and Jess with their characters, Izzy and Viv, the two of them, after leaving Victoria's house, Victoria had sent them a message and instructing Izzy, or at least one of them, to go to Joseph's house, Joseph, a materials engineer at JPL, to go to his house, try and find the divining tools that she had left there after their breakup. And for Viv to go and meet Joseph at his office at Jet Propulsion Laboratories over in Altadena. There, while in her meeting with Joseph, she learned that the material used to create the wax cylinders was the melted down former pop idols, and made sense because she had heard their voices calling to her after the recording finished. And it seems that something that only sensitive individuals or people with, other means of perception were able to pick up. And having that confirmed, she promised to deliver to Joseph some samples from one of these individuals who might have been, melted down or used in order to create the substance. And that was when she left and she received a phone call from her boss, Murray, about how, oh boy, TikTok and Instagram sure are blowing up with videos of you and this other lady, notably Izzy, stumbling, appearing to be drunk out of these bars, smashing these wax cylinders, and it is a shitstorm on social media for them currently. So that is where we are leaving them off. But let's get into our session intro moves. So for Urban Shadows, the way that each session starts is by each of the players giving rumors about things that they might have heard that might have interested them that are going about in the city. So, Hector, since your session intro move is a bit different from everyone else's, we'll kick off with yours, with your schemes and machinations.
The Immortal has different concerns from the rest of the roster for Urban Shadows. And so my machinations, I select one of my active schemes. This week I'm going to pick leverage. And a faction. And the only faction I do not have marked is Wild. So I'm picking Wild. Then I roll with that faction. Rolling good. That's an 11. On a 10 plus, your plotting pays off. Take a debt on someone in that faction or a useful piece of information, your choice. So I'm going to say that Hector has learned that either some fae or some demons, probably fae make the most sense, have intercepted the vase that Hector charged Eli to find and return to him. So now instead of just tracking down some thief, there may be some fairy political nonsense involved. And I think the person who did this probably owed me a favor already, but not like a debt. And it's probably their fault. So they're like, listen, I didn't know it was them that was going to buy it. So I'm going to say that, oh God, what's a good name? I don't know any good names. I need a good fae name.
Quintorius
Persevius. A fae pizza delivery guy is like, listen, yeah, I sell stuff on the down low. Quintorius now owes me a debt. It's like, you're going to fix this or I'll peel the flesh off your bones. All right, boss.
Like a banana.
Like a little fey banana. All right, sells items. All right, Quintorius Persevius selling items on the DL. Sold something to the wrong people. Interesting.
You sold my vase? Like, I'm pissed.
Oh, spectacular. All right, and then, Paul, you only have one faction that's not marked, right? Which one is it?
That's correct. I do not have power marked yet.
All right, well, then give me a rumor about power then.
That means I mark power, right? Or do I do that later?
You mark it.
Mark it.
Okay. So that'll get me advanced, but we'll talk about that in a second. So rumor for the power faction. Wizards are in the power faction. What can you remind me which other groups are within that faction? JB?
Immortals, wizards, like scholars, stuff like that.
Wizards.
Oracles.
Really,
scholars aren't.
Oracles.
Scholars are mortals, actually.
No, I meant like the actual scholar, not the playlist. Like magical scholars, older people, shit like that. I think dragons are power.
What are you throwing some shade there on the mortal scholars? Like, okay, so dragons, immortals, wizards, oracles. Okay, so we're gonna say that a dragon has actually been keeping an item long term in Eli's facility, but has fallen behind on their monthly payments. Or perhaps they've negotiated to pay because they're long lived. So, whatever increment the time period is, they've fallen behind a couple payments.
Okay.
And they may be trying to come and get it under their own terms. They may be trying to cut a deal with Eli. We're not exactly sure, but having a client that's this far into the red is problematic.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Right, and then Becca, what factions do you not have marked for our dear sweet Zev?
I do not have night marked.
Ooh, all right. So give me a night rumor.
Let me know if this works. The vampires are not as organized as we might expect.
Ooh, okay. So they're
There's a weak link there.
That's so succinct. I'm jealous.
I was like, oh, I hope this is a good one.
It's vague, so it applies to everything. That's good.
Vampires are not as organized as we might suspect.
Sure.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So, picking up. So last we had left Hector. He was a bit forlorn, having was taking in the fact that, you know, before long there would be not a single brick left in Los Angeles that he would recognize, and feeling maybe out of touch with the pace of the world and not being able to simply call on individuals anymore, but always having to be tethered to this horrible smartphone at all times. So after stopping by Izzy's house, where does Hector and where do we find him now as he's going throughout his day with these preparations? Let's say it's about like 5 o'clock, so you've got like a couple hours before the gala's supposed to begin.
Yeah, so this has been pretty much an all-day thing. For the past couple of hours, I think that Hector has more or less been on the phone, calling people up. Like, that's part of the lamentation that he had, was he knew scheduling this gala is going to take a lot of greasing palms and phone calls. So I think that he's calling in a lot of last-ditch stuff, caterers and things like that. Mm-hmm. And he's actually spending the very big majority of his time getting movers and shakers to agree to come tonight, drop their plans, and get their asses to the gala with their checkbooks. And I think that it's taking a lot of elbow ribbing for the most part, like, because these people don't need money, they don't need bribery. What they need is friendship. And so he's actually writing a lot of checks, proverbial checks that he can't cash, hoping that this plays off and he can change his identity soon. So he's constantly agreeing to do these things down the road with people, knowing that his plan is to pull the plug very, very soon. Even now, he has people noticing, like, who does your surgery? You look the same that you did 15 years ago. It's like, well, it's a diet of oysters. You know, he can't say all that much. I think that's pretty much all that he's doing. So he's going to go to the venue, which I completely picked out and told y'all, and I do not have it.
City Market Social House.
Yeah, I'm at the venue. I'm at City Market Social House, already setting up with things. And the whole day I've been planning to make a big fuss over Izzy and Viv and show them off and try and ingratiate them into high society. So as it's nearing 5:30, and they're supposed to be here, and I keep getting phone calls from the chopper that I sent telling me no one's arrived yet, I'm getting more and more anxious and more angry. So I think at this point I would pick up the phone and call. I never want to call Uriel, so it would have to be Zev. I would call Zev just to see what the hell is going on with Izzy, because I believed them all to be together first thing this morning.
Yellow.
Hello, Zev. I was hoping perhaps you would have a line on where in the hell Viv and Izzy are. They are late.
Late. Oh God. It's only 30 minutes after. I mean, that's not technically late. She's like digging into her bag with some of the treats that she brought from the event prior. Have you tried? She says something super obvious. Have you tried texting her?
Yes.
Oh no. All right. Well, I know she usually leaves her maps location on because she loves people knowing where she is at all times. How about I check and get back to you within a couple of minutes? I just need to be able to check the app on my phone.
So they are not with you.
No. But they could.
Right. If you hear from them, tell them to hurry up. But I'm finding replacements. I can't trust them to be punctual. Thank you.
You know, Hollywood.
Zev.
Of
I
course.
appreciate your attention.
So Zeb will just drop her location and then just, open up the map to figure out where on earth Izzy and Viv are. And I'm sorry, where are they currently? They were leaving to go see to find the divination tools.
Yeah. So I think Viv would be actually, does Zev have any sort of like real serious computer capability of being able to, like, I don't know, hack into things, search for IPs, that sort of stuff?
No, but she's really good at social media stalking. Like really good. Like she'll pick up who is in the photo and then find that person on Instagram and then follow them and then make a Finsta and then follow them there so they can get into private accounts.
For sure. I love it. So definitely, yes. Viv, having had made a splash on on JPL's campus, you can definitely see, you can search and you can see, her tagged in a few photos of like people from across the lawn taking pictures of like, oh my God, spotted Viv idly at JPL's. So random.
Yes, 100%. She will stalk your social media, and she was able to then pinpoint Viv and Izzy's location.
Yeah, so definitely you can definitely pinpoint Viv. You know that was like the last place that she has been that the last post that have been seen of her. Izzy, you can't find. There's actually a strange lack of Izzy. It's all an alarming disappearance of any mention of like her. That
tracks, and she probably is mentally blocked me from being able to see where she is.
As you look for her profile, it's not even that she's blocked you, it's that it's not there anymore.
Ooh. Perfect. Okay, well, ain't nothing to it but to do it. So maybe she'll call the location that she was last seen at. Because it wouldn't make sense to then everybody is in completely different spaces. So she can be the best option here. Well, first she'll shoot her a text, and then secondly, if she has to, then she can go to maybe Izzy and Viv's location and drag Eli with her. Okay. Yeah.
As you send a text and you're waiting for it to see like the little 3 dots of typing come up, and there's this really tense moment where
can I tell you what the text says?
What the message you sent her? Yeah.
Did you mean to put that on your story? That's what the text says.
Okay. And as you're waiting for this tense moment to be like, okay, respond, and suddenly you receive a call from her.
Yes. Wonderful. Hey.
And,
hey, girl.
And all you hear is like just running and thrashing through some building. You hear shit falling over, and you hear Zev, or not, sorry, you hear Izzy Kraut. Greenhouse, third door, stuck. Viv, is that you? And then end call.
Oh, great. Okay.
Sounded like a tense situation.
It sounded like a real bad situation. All right, Eli, we gotta go. We gotta go fast.
Were we still together at the end of last session? I thought we'd all kind of split up for the evening, or had we not? Yeah, done that.
I don't think so. I think we were still at the church. Yeah.
Okay,
Like when
we
we
were
unwrapped
just,
the
I guess,
conversation.
preparing to leave the church or
Yes.
something to that effect. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Wait, what? Where we gotta go?
All right. It sounds like the girls are in trouble. And
shit.
I
Okay.
heard thrashing, and I even sent a
Sure.
baiting text message. And
Thrashing. All right.
yep.
So, I'm not really geared up for trouble.
Okay.
Maybe we could stop by somewhere on the way there. Remember, like, this whole thing, we kind of got into that whole sticky situation back a couple nights ago, because I thought I was going to a party and I didn't prepare. So, I mean, maybe I can help out with this, but I don't have any gear to deal with thrashing right now.
Okay, so here's the thing. If we don't make it to this gala on time, Hector's going to have our necks, and the girls are in trouble. So maybe
I don't
we
think
could
I got an
change-
invite, actually.
Confirmed, neither of you were invited.
Yeah.
Damn.
We're unseemly characters.
It was implied.
For that sort of. Oh, okay. Eli would
implied.
notice that though and would point that out. Like,
Invite.
I don't think we're supposed to go there. Like, I don't think that's our scene.
Okay.
I think at this point, Uriel would like sort of like put a hand out and would say, "Go where Hector needs you to go. I will be the angel of wrath, and bring hell upon those who would seek to harm our friends. For I."
See, we can't let him go alone.
Yo, I think we can.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
I don't know how much you know about angels, but like, yeah, they'll be fine.
She kind of looks at Uriel, looks at Eli, looks at her phone, knowing that she is going to have to call back and find some type of resolution. So
I'm not saying I won't go with you, but we're going to have to make a stop on the way. I just
Okay.
got to pick up some stuff.
All right. We can do that. We'll send Uriel ahead of us. Because what could go wrong? What could go wrong, honestly? And then we'll make
good plan as
stop.
any.
Maybe stop at 7-Eleven or something. I'm hungry. And
Right.
then
7-Eleven.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll send Uriel off with like maybe like a note tied around his wrist or something.
Pinned to his jinkos.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Like a carrier pigeon.
Oh my word. Uriel will take off.
Perfect.
To go assist Izzy and Viv. Fabulous. All right, so yeah, what's the plan here with you two?
Oh wait, Eli just remembered that brother Eric is the member of his arcane network that keeps things safe for him. So occasionally Eli, as a negotiator, barterer, and storage facility owner, who takes care of various arcane, magical, spiritual, or items of spiritual power, has to leave items in somebody else's care from time to time. Sure. Sometimes they're especially dangerous items. So Eli is gonna, as they're getting ready to walk towards the nearest tube stop or whatever, Eli actually like stops, goes, "Oh no, Brother Eric's got some stuff. Hang on a minute. And then we'll go back into the church to find Brother Eric again to get into his secret vault.
Nice. Hell yeah. So you all make your way back, and Brother Eric will lead you into the one of the few places in the city that actually has a basement, which is not very common in the city of Los Angeles because the San Andreas Fault. So this is like one of the few buildings that actually has one, and as he'll lead you downstairs to this to this locked door, which so the two of you can see is like arcanely locked, and you see that he has to inscribe the series of what Eli would recognize as Enochian sigils in order to unlock this door, which leads into this very heavy concrete dense facility where all the noise is just sucked out from around you. What is it that Eli gathers?
Eli gathers various items of power that might come in handy during a situation where violence might be involved, or subtlety and obfuscation. So I'd like to leave those items of power somewhat open at the moment, so that later on, when I use perhaps one of my scholar moves or something, I can specifically say what these collected items were.
Word.
If that is okay. But he gets it's like it's a little like go bag.
For sure. You got your duffel bag of like shit hits the fan stuff.
Yeah, because there's always two duffel bags. There's a duffel bag that's got like the passports, the extra clothes, the multiple currencies, and then there's the bag that's got the flak vest, the combat knife, the pistol, except they're all arcane versions of that. So it's picking up a bag that's full of like a weird book, and there's some sort of it's like a septagram that's carved in wax that has a backing on it, a wooden backing, and a wand carved from some indeterminate material, maybe some kind of metal, but it looks like wood perhaps, that's wound around and exudes thorns at various parts upon its length. Things like that. So he grabs that duffel bag and says, "Thanks, Brother Eric. If any of these are still going, I'll drop them back off here."
He gives you a nod and says, "You're always welcome in through these doors. Just, let me know whatever you need, how I can be of service."
"Oh, you've done more than enough." And he holds his fist out. "Pound it."
Yeah.
Good. Nice. And Eli would pop back out the church doors and be like, "All right, so where are we headed now?" And he slings that over his other shoulder across from his messenger bag, so they're like crossed.
Okay, so having social media stalked, Viv, where was the location again? It was...
So you see like one new post like pops up that is tagged over in the Dina. So she's like en route somewhere.
En route somewhere in the Medinas. Any landmarks within it?
So you would know, let's see. It's mostly Zev would recognize as mostly residential. It's actually a historic residential neighborhood that you could find easily on meta maps.
All right, so pulls up that Schmoogle maps and plugs it into an Uber, and then they zip off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. With catching God, I keep wanting to call her Zeb. Catching Izzy's description of like greenhouse, third one on the street. You're like, okay, this is probably it. Maybe on this street. Best guess. As you all are heading towards the house, and you're in this Metacar ride over there, the car becomes just completely encircled by individuals who you recognize as being from the Court of Roaches, as they are all on motorcycles and begin to form this sort of barricade, almost, as you all are zipping down the freeway. And one of them, with this, like, bright hot magenta spiked mohawk, motions for you to roll down your windows.
Hey.
Shouting, going 70 miles on the freeway. They lift their visor up to be able to shout at you, and you recognize this as Lena, and she says, "We have a situation going on. Juniper is dropped dead on our doorstep."
No.
Yo, that sucks. Let's keep. That sucks.
Well,
yeah, Juniper also just did me fucking dirty. So like,
when?
15 minutes ago, and we think something big is happening.
Oh no. Okay. Oh no. She frantically looks at Eli, then Lena. Then, oh no.
what? So we're on our way to deal with something big too. I don't want to compare like tragedy. This is getting very long-winded for yelling across
They
during
got
the
like
freeway.
40% of it.
And they'll
Yeah,
motion
yeah.
pull over at the next exit.
All right. Well, Zev motions the driver to just pull over anywhere, preferably maybe in front of a coffee shop.
For sure. There's always a Starbucks right off the off-ramp.
Yeah. I dip out, brush, Zev brushes herself off, gets out of the car, thanks the driver, throws in a tip. Okay, what's this about Juniper being dead? What happened to the bull?
Yeah, about 15 minutes ago, we were delivered a box with Juniper's remains on the inside, and with this black credit card and a message saying that they're coming for us when we least expected.
Did they sign it?
I mean,
Like the note? Like I mean, so someone's trying to intimidate you, but they don't want you to know who they are?
I mean, we all knew that Juniper fell in with some bad folks, but we've heard about him being associated with vampires, and so this definitely seems like their shtick.
Yeah, actually.
It was just skin. There wasn't even blood in the box.
Ugh.
Whoa.
What's it in the vampires? Well, at least we got the card back, but Juniper, what did you get yourself into?
I mean, hang on, pardon us for just a moment. And Eli will pull Zev back just a couple half steps, be like, so we know like Juniper was under the thumb of Brooks, right?
Right.
So we think Brooks knew that he like ratted him out, maybe?
Most likely. I mean, this looks like vampire work to me. There's no blood in my body.
Sure fucking sounds like it.
Okay.
So I got an idea.
Bring the credit card back to Hector. Then we're off the hook.
Yes, you take care of that. I'm gonna work on a little, different idea. But yes,
Okay.
you get that. Make sure you get that card back.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Just don't like debts on my head, I have so many.
Shit.
But yeah, no, Juniper is real sad. Real sad.
Yeah,
So
tell
sad.
me about it.
Sad.
All right. All right. And Eli will step back up. Lena, what happened to Juniper was fucked up. But I think I know how you can get some payback. And I might even be able to tell you when the best time to get that payback would be.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. Yeah. So you're going to have to prepare your troops, right? Like, however you like drum them up in line. Start working on that. And then I'm going to get a line to you within a few days and let you know when the time to strike is.
Mm-hmm. And after you say that, just almost like a punctuation appeared at the end of your sentence, all of a sudden everyone's phones begin to buzz with this amber alert of and with the emergency signal broadcasting on your phones, and you hear on Skid Row there's been a bomb detonated, levying or destroying a 3-block radius of buildings. Civilians, please evacuate the area. Fire and police are on their way.
Zeb starts like smacking him. That sounds like what the girls are in. We gotta go.
That's over
this
there?
Is it. It has to be.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a call, Lena. We gotta go though.
All right.
You
And
owe me.
and she, looking a little bit flustered and frustrated, throws her helmet back on and motions for the group of them to make their way off as they zoom back onto the freeway, going 90 miles an hour. And you all suddenly feel as this delayed sort of ripple through the ground sort of begin to shake as you hear the sound finally hit you from this explosion about 20 miles away.
That's a big. Well, you did say 3-block radius. Whoa, that's huge. Okay. And you said that was down on Skid Row, right?
Skid Row,
That's
yeah,
nowhere near where Percy Brooks was. Okay.
Yeah. So that is prime location for where the Court of Rocha's industrial holdings were.
Fuck. Wait. So is that the same place? Is that where? That
was where Juniper's dropped off.
That was where Juniper was dropped off. Is that where Izzy and Viv are?
No.
That was a warning.
No.
Oh. Different location. Oh no.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Fuck.
They're starting a war.
A whole different.
For those of you at home who might not know, a 3-block explosion would be just at half a mile.
Okay.
So looking at the big greater spiraling circle of Los Angeles, towards in the upper right quadrant would be Skid Row, and that's all and then that's surrounded by central LA, which is in that greater area, or central downtown LA, which is where you would find high rises in the strict downtown, and where Percy lives. And then south of that, in the bottom right quadrant, are where Zev and Izzy are, in suburbia, in Altadena, Pasadena, that sort of area. And then you all and you all are currently over on the west side.
Okay. So that you sure there wasn't anything else in that box? Damn. Jeez. Yeah. Eli's just kind of fuck.
Okay. I say before we handle this Juniper business, we find out, make sure girls are alive, and then we can check out whatever war is being started right now. because it sounds to me like that Juniper's body was a warning. Not a long warning, but it was a warning.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, warning followed by freaking explosion. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Lena, you gotta yeah, good luck getting your house in order. I'll call you as soon as I know more.
Oh yeah, they've already taken off. Hector, cut to you. Zev or Izzy and Viv still haven't called you. Both of their phones are off, not responding whatsoever. And now Zev is hard to reach. What do you do?
Without an oracle in my pocket for what's about to happen, I need someone that I can rely on to get information on a paranormal level. So I'm going to hit the streets to look for my old friend Grace, who happens to be a specter who lives in Los
Ooh.
Angeles. Still rolling good. 11. So let me pull it up. I want to hit the streets. You get what you need, name who you're going after, and roll their faction. On a hit, they're available and have the stuff. So I hit the streets. That also brings me to another advancement because I mark night. And I go and find Grace. Grace died here in the 20s.
Mm.
And I knew her when she was still living. She knows me by the name Arturo, the previous identity I had before Hector and before what came before that. But I know she used to have a haunt somewhere. I don't know LA like you do. Used to have a haunt somewhere where she actually stayed to run a speakeasy for a while during Prohibition. She died there and never left. Now the place is some restaurant, but she still mopes about and drifts through, a ghost trapped in this location until the building's torn down, which it may never well be. But I can perhaps borrow her for a little while. So I arrive at this restaurant and wave off the maitre d' to stop bothering me, walk towards the kitchen, and spot Grace kind of drifting through a wall.
Yeah, and still decked out in her finest flapper wear of this like silk or this peach sort of lace day dress, and as she sort of passes through a wall and stops and she looks, Arturo, Mr. Fleisch, oh, fancy you dropping in.
Oh, it is me, dear. Tell me, how long has it been? Probably 10 years now since we spoke.
Oh, what's time? It's all pointless to me now anyways.
Oh, my darling. And onlookers see him bend at the waist and lift his hand like he's kissing something. And he's kissing her hand, but no one can see it. They're looking at him like he's completely lost his fucking mind. And Hector says, listen, my sweet, I was wondering if you could come with me for a few hours. I need you to get a feel of a lady so that I know if I'm going to step into a trap or not.
Ooh, I love that. Oh, that was always my favorite activity. And she perches her chin on her hand, and she says, who we after? Oh, I need something to wear. Tell me, are we going ball gown? What's the vibe?
It is a rather ritzy gala, so you can wear whatever you want.
And she gives a snap, and then the sort of ephemera sort of just coalesces into this long, very tight, svelte, emerald green gown that hugs every curve of her. And she's like, one last touch. And she licks her fingers in as she appears this, and as she sort of brings them around her neck, this beautiful chain of pearls, layer of pearls, swings around her neck. And she says, well, we'll talk. We'll talk and walk.
Unceremoniously, and full view of whoever's in the room, Hector lifts his foot back to his chest and smashes his foot through a part of the wall. pries out a part of a board and just wrenches the shit free. This is big part of board with a nail sticking out of it.
Amazing.
Because he has to take a piece of it with him for her to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's only temporary. And as he passes by the maitre d', who's like losing his fucking mind, he just throws out a bunch of hundreds and like, sorry about that, please. He coughs, remembering that's not his voice anymore. Please feel free to send any more overages my way. Hector Curio. As he backs out of the door and leaves.
You see, yeah, and just there's this whirlwind of busboys and waiters and servers just like clamoring around trying to snatch these bills out of the air.
I'll put it on the table. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not that big of an ass.
So yeah, you toss.
But I
a lot
just
of
have
cash.
kind of nestled as if I were holding a puppy, this piece of board from this old building, showing respect to it because it's part of Grace's life now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, listen, sweets, the truth is, I need to get a vibe on this lady, and I'm not sure she's going to tell me what I need to know. I had a ringer, somebody I was going to bring in, but they ghosted on me. And he chuckles to himself.
And she gives you a playful slap, and she's like, "Oh, dead humor, so good. All right, well, you're lucky I like you. I smacked the last fool who said that to me. All right, anyway, well, ooh, okay, so she's a lady with a secret. Ooh, aren't we all? Well, you point her out to me, and I'll see what I can do for you."
Absolutely. Past that, feel free. There's no one at this party that I would lament if they were dead. So feel free to do whatever else you want. Just leave that one to me.
Very well. And she gestures and she manifests a perfectly sized little handbag in order to fit this piece of particle board with the nail sticking out to
Oh, she wants to carry it?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. She's
Sure.
very attached.
After that, I would return with her. And at this point, I've probably just had party planners or whatever call in an orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
We were planning for this kind of raucous pop star idol. So all of the lighting is wrong. The stage is wrong. All of that stuff. But I can't trust that Viv is going to come. And I think that's about when the alert sounds. There's been this explosion.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And when I hear there's an explosion of that magnitude in this city, there's only a couple of people that I could imagine would be capable of it. And sadly, one of them is Eli. I know how tricky magical items can be, especially if someone has lied to you about what they do or where they come from. So I would immediately, knowing that he's traveling with Zev, and Zev is more likely to have and open her phone, I would call Zev again.
Yes. So Zev sends a photo of the Juniper. Well, no, she didn't see the Juniper body, did she? No. She only heard about it.
She's only heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Zev, are you all right?
Hey, yeah. So fun story. Juniper is dead. And there's
Hector's like waving people at the party, like where to go and what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Juniper. Who was that?
Dead.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Juniper, yes.
Yeah,
that little
one.
fucker, he owed me.
Yeah, I had the bowl. But on the plus
Did you
side,
kill him?
No, not me this time.
This time.
Fun story. He's missing blood. So we suspect this might be a whole vampire debacle. So that might be something to look out for at your gala, because they seem real pissed right now. So careful.
First question of 3 questions.
Yeah.
1, were you at the explosion?
No, but I heard it.
Okay, great. We are on the right track. 2, did Eli cause an explosion?
You know what? Surprisingly, no. It wasn't him this time. It wasn't him.
Perfect. 2 out of 2 on this track. 3, do you think you and Eli could get Juniper to me?
The body?
Yes, the corpse.
Oh,
Desiccated corpse, yes.
oh man,
No, not a real corpse. Keep walking.
Who are you talking to?
it's Hector. He was asking if we could bring that floppy body over to him.
Always
that
put
adds
me
up.
on speakerphone.
Beep.
Just hearing
Hello.
hearing that half of the conversation. Yeah, all right. Why do you want Juniper's body, man? Like, and that's it was delivered to the Court of Roaches. Dude, Queen Annika isn't gonna hand that shit over.
Queen Annika owes us. We're doing work for her.
Queen
Consider the
Annika
body
owes it.
part of
Queen Annika's like domain just got exploded, dude.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it fucking does.
See if you can get Juniper's corpse.
You do wait, why you I don't think you answered the first question. Why do you need Juniper's body?
See if you can get Juniper's corpse and bring it to me. Maybe I can find a few answers from it.
Find answers from
who killed Juniper and maybe who set this up.
We're putting that in the trunks. I am not carrying that.
Oh,
Again.
we already know. We already know. Come on.
The gala starts in an hour, and I'm expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of $18 million to exchange hands here. So bring it around back. Dress nicely if you have something. If not, I'll provide you something to wear.
Why would he exchange hands? Yes.
So wait, no. Why? Wait. Is Percy Brooks going there? Is Brooks at your gala?
I don't know who that is, so no.
Oh, that's probably the vampire behind the explosion. They're the vampire behind Juniper. Like, bad business.
Oh, so you already know who it is.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you if they're gonna be there. I wouldn't ask you if someone was gonna be there that I didn't know. That makes no sense, right?
Okay. Since I don't hear Uriel, I'm assuming that Uriel is out smiting someone, correct?
No, he's on the way. He'll probably be showing up there soon.
Why is he coming to me?
He's got a note.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not coming.
We sent a note with him.
I don't think the two of you know what's happening. So why don't you see if you can get Juniper? Find out what happened with that explosion and let me know. I'll make it up to you when you get here. Some might say I'll owe you one. Sound good?
Yeah.
We're on the way to check on Viv and Izzy, though.
We'll get them. We're getting the body. Click. All right. So
why the fuck are we getting it? Like, I feel weird about this.
What's one body to another, right?
It's not that I haven't dealt in like body parts before, but you know,
okay.
They haven't even been put in the ground yet. Like,
I mean, it's floppy. We can maybe fold it and put it into a bag. I don't know why he wants it, but if that means we get more sandwiches out of it, we gotta find Viv and Izzy.
Yeah. That's question one. Then we could get sandwiches, and we don't need to involve corpse hauling for Hector to get sandwiches.
All right. In terms of where they are right now, when they pulled over, are they anywhere within the vicinity of where they could recognize the house that Izzy had mentioned in the last call?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Maybe there's just also something Viv would have dropped on the way there, but yeah, she's just at this point desperately looking for a greenhouse. A greenhouse in the area.
And as you all make your way into this historic neighborhood where you can see it's all these craftsman styles homes, which were built in about the 1910s, and they all have these almost sort of just full of wood paneling, low hanging roofs, very beautifully kept neighborhood. With all of these, very, very family-oriented, small, quiet streets, you see that there are, kids running down cul-de-sacs. And as you all are sort of winding your way up and down these different cul-de-sacs, trying to find this greenhouse, and eventually you all spot a piece of something that Zev would immediately recognize, a piece of one of Viv's outfits. You know, one of these like flowers that like changes color according to what time of day it is, and one of her little drone birds that carries like her purse, just sort of cracked and laying on the sidewalk.
I think this belonged to Viv. Do you recognize this at all? Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like her shtick.
Very
Hang
cool.
on. Can I? Is there a? I'm looking at the basic moves right now.
Same.
What is it that you want to do?
I would like to search this area. Are there
Yeah.
further signs of a struggle? Is there a direction that they may have moved in, gotten pulled in?
Yeah, so there's no search skill, there's no perception skill. Just tell me what you're doing, and I'll tell you what you can see. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
He's investigating the area.
That might be investigative place of power.
Is
Oh,
that
true.
yeah? Does that qualify there or?
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll say it works. It would be
Okay.
It would be power.
Okay. Yeah, that's terrible. I got a 3. So I got nothing because I did not get a hit. So Eli is just sort of scrounging around the sidewalk, like poking at the bushes, like kind of rooting around.
Yeah, there's no visible signs of struggle anywhere.
Could I use hit the streets to see if there's any maybe neighbors that might have seen something funky, or kind of similar, but
Yeah.
okay.
Sure. Go. Yeah, you'll roll with mortality.
With mortality 1 and 6.
7 is a hit.
80. Okay.
Sorry. So what does it look like as Zev is interrogating neighbors?
Okay. So there is his dad mowing the lawn, right? He is like full dad mode, socks and sandals, who has his headphones in, so he did not hear the explosion. He's just mowing his lawn. So she's just trying to get his attention. He's not paying attention, but the lady who's walking her poodle is. So she approaches her. She's just hard of hearing. So Zev goes up to her.
Yeah, and as you approach this lady, and the poodle immediately jumps up, like trying to get your attention, like, oh look, new friend. And as you flag this woman down, and you can see that she is like fiddling with her phone as she's like, you know, she's doing the move where she's like picking up and like holding it to see if like anything changes. And as you sort of approach, she's like, tell me, do you have any reception in this area? It seems like mine has just completely dropped, and I was just right in the middle of this audiobook, and now I'm never going to know what's going to happen to Heather, or if she finds the love of her life, or, I'm sorry, do you live around here? I don't recognize you.
Yeah, no, probably an earthquake. I've been having some funky reception too. Say, did you see, you know, a shiny two gals? Maybe one of them is kind of shiny. The other one is just a little mystical, kind of dissociating. See anything funky around here in the last hour and a half or so?
And she keeps like fiddling with the settings on her phone, and you can see that she stops and she thinks, and she says, I did see this SUV like tear down the street, which I've never seen before. It had like all blacked out tinted windows, and they were going really fast. Like they left skid marks on the road. Like how unsightly. Like this is a neighborhood for children. My children play on this street.
And you pay way too much in the HOA, am I right?
Oh.
So did you see where they were headed? Like that way.
She says, so if you look over here, over in this intersection, you can see the skid marks, and it looks like, I guess it looks like it leads off that way, as she kind of points with like this limp, annoyed finger.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And any chance you've seen a couple of women around here that just look a little, a little different than normally what you see besides me?
And she puts a finger to her like pursed lips as she thinks, and she sucks her teeth, and she says, "Well, I haven't really seen anyone, but I saw this hand as they were driving away, like throw something out at the window, and I was like, hey, don't litter." And then that's where this, like, as she points to like the bird, the little drone bird is on the sidewalk, and she like threw that out. Like, oh, like treat this neighborhood with respect. Like HOA, right? You know.
Rude. Thank you so very much. Good luck with your cellular device. Okay. And then she scuttles over to Eli and tells him everything that she just heard. So, yes.
Eli is like crouched over the bird with a jeweler's loop over his eye.
Nice.
Like examining the pieces of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see that this is definitely one of Viv's little drone birds. And you can see that, normally, like, with the, it, like, connects, how it connects to Wi-Fi and everything, and you can see that the chip inside to give it internet connection has been smashed. You're not sure whether it's from the impact of it being tossed out the window or if done purposely. As you all take a look down the street, you can see that there is almost this sort of breadcrumb trail of little different pieces of Viv's outfit.
Uh-oh. I think we're on the right track here. We're gonna need to follow these clues. Hopefully.
All right. Yeah. All right, let's check it out. And he's gonna go and get one of the electric scooters off of the sidewalk that I'm sure are omnipresent. And like boop, tag that. And then if you've seen Elijah Wood on the scooter, he's gonna light a cigarette and then start down the sidewalk.
Zev sits side saddle.
We're both sharing one razor scooter hanging off of either side. Yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
As you all are tearing down the street following these pieces, you see you come across a signature feather of Uriel's floating onto the ground.
Okay. Is he up there?
You don't see him.
Okay.
I think he must have gotten here before us. That's not good.
Or maybe it is.
All right. You gotta just keep following the trails.
Yeah.
Picks up the feather and stashes it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Those are valuable.
Yeah.
And so, Hector, with Grace in arm, and you're directing people. The gala opens. The orchestra is there. The lighting is all set for like this like drastic red and blue, very dramatic lighting. They had to change the spotlight and everything to accompany this orchestra who's playing old Mozart, the old Mozart hits. Yeah.
So this gala, my idea for it, since it's last minute and we needed people to show up with a lot of passion and fervor, this is exclusively a gala of art pieces done by native Angelinos who are just starting their careers in their 20s and early 30s, or people who have never had a gala under their belt before. So there's a lot of people milling about in common clothing and wearing just their normal attire. They didn't have time to go and get like a tux or anything. They're here from the bus and they have their art pieces hanging up, doing a very open air style thing where every person gets their own little pedestal that's been wheeled in to display their art on and stand by it. And all these highbrow individuals milling about in the crowd, mingling with these artists like I don't understand what this is supposed to be. Well, this is from my time growing up in North Dakota when and I'm trying to mingle the extremely, extremely highbrow with the extremely lowbrow. And for catering at the event, we're having really nice and extravagant wines, but we're going middle of the road with food as well and doing like a buffet style that a lot of these rich bastards wouldn't be used to. Something to get them to hold a plate with their own hand and walk around and talk to people. Again, trying to bridge the gap between the extremely poor and starving artist and the people who spend millions of dollars on fuel for their private jet every year.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the whole while, I think that he is speaking with people, nodding along and smiling warmly. And then as soon as he breaks away from the conversation, checking his phone. Nothing. Putting it back in his pocket. I don't have this written down, and I don't know if we ever even settled on it. But which mayoral candidate, what is the name of the mayoral candidate that I'm going to be?
Oh, Morgan Connolly.
Morgan Connolly.
I'll type it in our chat.
She, her?
Yes.
Okay. So whenever Morgan finally gets there, that's when I'll probably drop focus on everything else and focus exclusively on her. But you don't go into a conversation alone with someone of this caliber. You need someone to bludgeon whoever's speaking to them away from the conversation. So I'm going to sweep out, and with this handy list of folks that I know, I'm going to keep an eye out for Evelyn Drake.
Yes.
She's very likable. She's an expert erudite of religious history and charity management. She's in her 60s. It's the perfect match for whoever I might need to get away from Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of sweep out and look for Evelyn Drake while keeping my eye on Morgan as they mill about in the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Mrs. Drake by her telltale, just very almost her dresses, which are almost like modern art pieces in and of themselves with these drastic angles and shapes. And she has these just absolutely unique array of wigs. And tonight she's wearing this like bright lime green, sort of almost like beehive arrangement on top of her head. And it just looks exquisite.
Miss Drake, it is an honor to see you. And I try and look at the art that she's like checking out. What are we thinking? Is it a big blue piece? Just a gradation of blue?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's just like very thin, exact shades of that go from like pure white to black, and it's just this gradient of blue. And she just looks at it, and you hear her just mutter, "Marvelous," under her breath.
And I look at the artist who absolutely looks like they just got off work from In-N-Out. And I'd say, and how much for this piece?
Just like caught off guard, like wide-eyed, like they've never been asked this question before. In this like almost ketchup stained smock, and they say,
I'll lean in magnanimously and whisper 500,000 and lean back out.
Yeah, just like with this smile plastered on their face of trying to keep their shit together, like 500,000 for this piece, and like looks at you very gratefully with their eyes.
I give a little wink and I say, are you interested in buying it, Miss Drake, or should I buy it for you?
She taps a finger against her chin and she says, "You are by far too generous, my dear, but no. This is a piece that's for me. It's going to go in my summer beach house. It'll go in my study that overlooks the ocean. I think it'll be just perfect."
So Hector reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a little stack of those little red stickers and boop, puts a little red sticker on the edge of the frame and puts the stickers back in his pocket and gestures for the artist and says, "Keep up this work. This really has promise, especially if you can do this with a variety of tapestries." He lets that long pause before he says tapestries. And he says, "Evelyn, I do need your services. I am trying, like an axe head, to wedge apart two people in conversation. And my dear, no one is sharper than you."
She waves you off and she says, "Well, tell me who it is. I've got a busy evening. I've got to speak to Miss Connolly, who we're all here for."
Surprise, surprise, as am I.
Oh.
And he offers the crook of his elbow to help escort her over.
She does, and she'll take it joyfully.
"And what exactly have you heard about Miss Connolly? Tell me about our dear Morgan. What skeletons are in that closet?"
Oh, dear. Well, you see, the poor thing, she used to be head of their outreach program at Meta, and I have been trying to ring her office because I hear with her stance on finding houses for the needy, bringing shelter all to those who need it, solving this dreadful housing crisis that we have, that my charity works with veterans and with the unhoused, and I think that we would make a powerful partnership in order to solve this. But she has just been not returning a single note, a single call, a single email even. It's offensive. She bites.
That is quite the offense, especially given high society's predation of those who choose not to be part of the game.
Quite.
Well, perhaps we can make a player of her by the end of the night. "Ah, Miss Connolly!" I say it nice and loudly so everybody hears that I'm trying to get into this conversation.
Indeed. And she, with swings your direction, Martini first, and she says, "Ah, the man who I have to thank himself. Come here. Oh, and Miss Drake, is it?" She looks and Evelyn says, "Yes, how kind of you to notice."
Yes, my high society voice. It's great. I'll kind of sweep in with Evelyn in tow, and anybody who seems like they're trying to muscle into the conversation, I'll slit their fucking throats with my eyes. I want them to go away.
Amazing.
In fact, I want them to go away so much that I'm going to let it out.
Ooh.
Frighten, intimidate, or impress your opposition in this social interaction.
Amazing.
I'm trying to force apart everyone who would dare muscle into this conversation. Spirit is not my best. Let me make sure I don't have anything that I can juice. Okay. Spirit is most certainly not my best, but I'll give it a shot. 8.
Nice.
10 minus 2. So it's still hit.
Still rolling hot. All right.
So I'm going to frighten, intimidate, or impress my opposition. Only on a 10 plus can I ignore marking corruption, but I'm happy to do it.
That's right. Nice. So yeah, it's and as it even the people that she was originally talking to, they immediately as you sweep in with Evelyn in tow, and they just as you direct this conversation and just feeling the energy off of you, they immediately give the we'll see you around, Miss. Oh, God, yeah. We're gonna go check out the hors d'oeuvres table, and they all flitter away, so you have her undivided attention.
I am pleased to introduce Miss Evelyn Drake. I believe the two of you can do great things for the city, but unfortunately, I do have to be a little selfish in the moment. I need to speak to you briefly alone. Evelyn, please, we will be right back, my darling.
I trust that you will. She waves generously.
And as the camera like pans across my back, it shows that Grace is on my other arm, but no one can see her. Like, Miss Conley, I think that, honest to goodness, I don't know a single thing about you, and that fact disturbs me. Who are you?
Ooh. And you can see that she is visibly thrown off guard by the directness of your question. And she takes a minute and she straightens her shoulders and she looks at you with like this newfound respect, like, oh, a worthy player. And she says, well, I'm running for mayor because I'm here to shake things up, because I think I can do better, and I think that I can finally do the one thing that the city has always failed to do, and that's take care of its most vulnerable. Put them to work.
I'm going to try and figure someone out here. I want to basically listen to every word, like a chess match, and try and figure out if anything she's saying strikes me as false.
Okay.
And maybe that'll help me know where to take the conversation. Now I'm rolling plus mind. Please say my mind is good. My mind is good. Hell yeah. 10. 6 plus 2 plus 2 for my mind. On a hit, hold 2. I'm not in their faction. So I'm going to go with who's pulling your strings. And be like, and how exactly do you think you're going to get there? I wonder if someone isn't aiming you like an arrow from a bow.
And she takes that in measure and she says, well, I think there's a lot more that our municipal government can do in partnering with businesses in order to ensure that, that the needs of these people are met, but not at too great of cost to the government, to the city itself. And I think that it's a rather untapped resource. And there's really only one business out of character. There's only one business in this town that means anything, as Hector would know.
Yeah. Meta's pretty much everything at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll say, how could I put your character in my debt? So I'm trying to lean into, and what would you say I could do to make room for my own advancement in this situation?
See, and she would say, well, ensure that the coffers are filled. This, as she motions to the party around you, swirling around you. This is certainly a wonderful start, but I need to secure $50 million by the end of this evening if I'm to make a real effect on the people of this town. You do that, I might be able to make things
Morgan,
easier.
I think perhaps you've misunderstood me. $50 million is a phone call. I'm not talking about your coffers or your political intrigue. I'm talking about what's underneath. And do not play me a fool. I know you are involved in something. And he's like, the camera's moving with them. He's turning her ever so slightly in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera kind of focuses on Grace on his right hand. There's something that you're not telling me. Someone in the darkness that you would rather not know. No one in this city is untouched.
And in this sort of disturbingly candid moment, almost against her own volition, she says, "Meta wants Skid Row demolished so that they can take over and then use the vagrants there as their working population as an almost indentured servitude."
You are. Leans in and smiling. I knew I'd see your real face eventually.
And she kind of looks off and away, and she has this moment where she's not quite sure of the last thing she said. She says, "So then, I look forward to a fruitful partnership then."
He offers his hand and shakes hers. Of course, I'll make that phone call.
And she looks a little unsettled, and she shivers for a moment, and you just Hector hears this very cute little coy just giggle from Grace to his right.
You are beautiful, you know that. He says as he walks away and leaves Evelyn Drake to mop up what remains of Morgan Conley.
She swoops in like a red-tailed hawk and is like, "Oh, so," like snatching a mouse from the brush. Oh, cut to the two of you're following this trail. You've snagged one of Uriel's feathers as you continue onward. Through it goes. The path leads out of this neighborhood, and back towards to this large warehouse district in central LA, not too far from Skid Row. And as you all are traveling by scooter rather slowly, you just hear the perpetual sounds of sirens of fire trucks sounding as you see people are trying as hard as hell to get out of Dodge. And eventually the trail stops at this large warehouse building that you can see is labeled with Meta's Manufacturing and Distribution Company. And you all see parked outside is this black tinted windowed SUV. Looks to be probably armored.
Well, looks like this might be the case.
Yeah, that matches the lady's description, right?
Yeah. Just in case did you happen to bring one or two things in case things get violent?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, all right. All right. She kind of like looks around to see if maybe there's any point of entry. Would that be investigating a place of power there?
Wait. Hang on just a second.
Yeah.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
maybe we should scope some things out. And Eli's gonna reach into one of the go bags.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his regular messenger bag. This is something that he would kind of carry with him.
Sure.
But I would like to pulls out one of those. You remember, they probably still make them in some, but it's like the all-in-one survival tool, but it's a survival tool for a kid, and it's got like the little binoculars that you can flip out of the sides, and like you turn it, and one side's a mirror, and then you flip it over, and there's a compass.
For sure,
you could also use it as a telescope. And so he pulls it out, and he unfolds the lenses on either side and begins to look at the ground. And I would like to let it out through this magical item to extend my supernatural senses through the environment to see if there's wards or other kind of physical or arcane barricades.
Hell yeah.
Or protections.
Love it.
Okay.
Roll with spirit.
All right. That is a 7.
Ooh, nice. So that is a hit. You do mark corruption, and
Yep.
So as you see, as you you telescope out this and you examine the building, and you can see that this place is indeed, well, though mundane looking from the outside, is just barricaded with these arcane wards in order to protect from invaders or people who don't have a certain like biological marking or other from going in and out. You can see
All right.
what the both of you see as this journal set of the scene is most of the lights of this building are off. You can see that there are definitely a variety of doors that mark around the square perimeter of this building going in and out. It is, just after sunset. The streetlights have just come on and, the parking lot surrounding it is completely empty. But this building is just, armed to the teeth with magical wards.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna wanna like take a second here because we need a key or something. There's gonna be no way to get through this without setting off all kinds of alarms and maybe causing other explosions, but like inside of us. So we don't want to fuck with that. So we gotta find a key card, biosignature, like yeah. Yeah. Maybe watch for I don't know. You got any ideas?
Zev makes a attempt to look through the purse that Viv left, just in case there might have been like something in it that shouldn't be in there. I don't see anything in here. I mean, we could scout around the area, but I'm afraid if they're buried in rubble, I don't want them to suffocate before we need to get going to the next place. But I say we could scout around and not get too close to the building.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we're not getting into this building without some kind of key disguise passcode. If they were taken in here, that's what we need to find them.
Hang on. Is there anybody in this truck?
As you all can make your way towards this SUV and get a little peek inside, you can see that no one is inside. You see that the only other vehicle that is in this lot is this very, plain-looking gray sedan.
You know how to pick locks by any chance? You can get into a car. Is it locked? Is it locked?
It is locked.
Nuts. All right.
I feel like picking locks would be right up Zev's alley.
Yeah,
I thief, right? Like,
but I'm good at doors. Cars, that's a whole another type of. But I can
we're playing an RPG. All locks.
Okay, right. Yeah. I will happily make a roll if you'd like to pick open the store without setting off the alarm.
No, I think Zev is a consummate professional, and so with the taking the time to do it, and I would say that she probably has the tools or the magic in order to make it happen. And so what's it look like as Zev finds her way into this car?
So Zev knows enough to like pop the hood, cut the cord for the horn, and take out some pins in her hair and attempt to unlock the store. Mm-hmm. She doesn't exactly have a jimmy, but she has enough, little to get it open eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure. And as you do so,
quietly,
you get that satisfying pop as the lock releases and the door just creaks open, and you all can begin diving into here. And sure enough, with some effort after digging through some 3-day-old coffee cups that litter the bottom of this sedan, you find a badge.
Cha-ching! oh, look what I got. Zeb dances around a little bit. Let me see if they can have some change. She looks in the dashboard. Like she's holding out the badge out the door, but like it's not enough. She's like
Yeah.
she
As you
figured that thievery.
Oh yeah, you keep rifling through like a raccoon in a dumpster, and yeah, you
Whoa.
find you find a stack of like $50 in singles and fives inside of the glove compartment. Yeah, you find a small velvet box which inside contains an engagement ring.
Oh, somebody in here is a romantic. So she shoves the money back in her brassiere bras, and scuttles out of the door, kind of sliding out because she's short and this truck is fairly tall, just sliding out less than gracefully with a oomph, and then waves the badge at Eli.
Yeah.
Haha.
Like,
Think this will work?
Yeah, that's what we need. What? Wow. All right. Yeah. They got lax security. What a bunch of chumps.
All right. Well, we should try this out before anybody suspects that we broke into their fancy schmancy car. And then it's our way over.
Is there a name on the badge? Is there a picture?
There is. It's this very incredibly pale individual, supernaturally pale, one might say. A name of an individual, Felix Long.
He looks like a Felix. So
He's got the short, cropped black hair, very stern eyebrows.
he looks fun at parties, huh? So she takes that and scuttles on over. Hopefully,
Hang on. Are you gonna be Felix, or do I need to be Felix?
What? Oh, she hands the badge over.
Well, like Eli holds it up, and close cropped, like dark hair, counterpoint, sun bleached SoCal surfer hair that Eli has. White guy suntan versus unnaturally pale. It's like, I might have something to get me to pass, but do you have any ideas on how one of us is going to pass for him?
You could just say you got some hair and a tan.
Got those fake glamours.
Yeah. I was just about to. I'm like, I got my glamour. All right. I'll do this once. So could pull out.
Hey, I found the wards.
That's true. So she kind of takes her magic, brings out a cloud of pink and purple, and suddenly she is this Felix character, but a little bit exaggerated because she thinks he's goofy looking. So paler somehow and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
A little crooked fang.
That's There you go.
Look at me, I'm Felix. All right, I think this will work.
For sure.
Yes. So let's. Do you think this will work now?
Yeah. Am I like you showing me around the spot? Am I like a friend in town? That sounds pretty good, right?
Here. So she kind of like makeshift the scarf around her neck to a vest or something. Come with me and we can suss this out.
Right on.
Nice. Amazing. You all can locate the front entrance of the building. Do you want to look for a front or like a back or side entrance?
Side entrance.
Yeah, you all loop around to the back or to the side, and you can see that there sure enough is one of those little fobs to tap your badge against. You see the little red light turn from red to green, and you hear a thunk on the door.
Sweet.
So she slowly opens the door, peeks in, makes her way in, trying to look a little less obvious, but that first initial, like, oh my god, I can't believe I got away with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two of you step in, and everything seems normal. You lead and you step into this long hallway that's like flanked by doors on other sides. It's dead quiet in here. You can see that at the end of the hallway there are stairs leading up, and in the middle of the hallway you can see an elevator.
All right. All right. They move forward, press a couple of buttons, and once they get inside the elevator, like, what do they see? How far up does it go?
Yeah, judging by the outside of the building, it looked like about 4 or 5 stories tall. But as you look inside, yeah, sure enough, it goes up to 5. You can see that there is an extra keypad in here. With a little key code. You can also see that there are 3 levels to this basement.
Eli's gonna flip over the survival tool now and tap on the compass a few times. And I would like to do a similar thing, let it out using this magical implement to determine the direction.
Ooh.
And this is a weird compass. It's one of the circular ones, spherical ones. So it'll actually indicate up and down as well.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
So the direction towards Vivian, is he?
Exactly.
Nice. Very cool.
Ooh, hot hands. That's 10.
Ooh, yay!
Hot dog.
I'll go ahead and still take the corruption, but I'll pick another one, which is to take a +1 on my next roll.
Nice. Very cool. And so, as you take out this compass and you wait for it to settle, you can see that it shifts up, so that you need to go up towards the building, towards the top.
Nice. Just hit all of those. And he gestures at all the up, higher floors.
All right, we'll start from the top. Presses 5. Doors
Yeah.
close with a ding.
Bing. Opens up. Yeah, and you see this very plain looking floor. Every floor had this oddly identical layout. And as you step outside, Zev, as you step outside and you take a look around, your sort of fey senses sort of kick in, and you can tell that down the hallway off to the right, there's something not quite right about the walls. It's like,
hey, check this out.
and so as you go over there and you're intrigued, and you can tell that there's definitely like a false wall here.
Eli, I think we're onto something.
Yeah. All right.
All right. She kind of like tries to put her hand through it, and it goes through.
It does.
Okay. I think we're onto something here.
Yeah, and it didn't like chop it off or electrocute you, which is usually what those will do if they're not like made by you, but nice.
True. Pushing my leg lately, so it's part of my name. It's why my mom named me Zev. Okay. Well, is there anything would I have the power to make something like this kind of go away in this case?
I would say roll to let it out.
Okay, roll to let it out. Six.
Let me look. Head to toe. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't say. So, with the 6, you are unable to the magic here is so intricately and just methodically weaved that you just as soon as you make an indent to like eliminate one part of the illusion. Like the more of it just like fills immediately, like rushes in to complete it. And so, but you are aware that it's here. But and as you're trying to focus your concentration in order to like peel apart these just layers upon layers of magic, suddenly you all hear heavy booted footsteps, and you hear just the cocking of guns.
Oh, great.
And that's where we're going to end this
Yay!
episode.
Yay!
Nice.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You all are in some shit, and I love it. All right, so with that, before we close this episode for good, we'll do our session outro move. So the way that every Urban Shadow session ends is with our session end moves, in which you all have a chance to go around and say whether you've learned something meaningful about a faction, and if you did, you can take a +1 to that faction, but at the cost of learning about that faction, about increasing your participation or your interaction with that faction, you've inevitably had to let some other faction fall by the wayside. So you'll increase 1 by 1 and subtract 1 from another faction. So, who wants to start? Like, you also can say that you haven't learned anything new, which is also okay too.
It's pretty big, like the amount of shit that I learned about mortality faction today in dealing with a lot of mortals at the party. So I'm going to say that my mortality clicked up, especially after learning about meta and its plans to, essentially just cause a war zone in part of the city. So mortality up 1, and boy, I am struggling to make any power people do anything for me. I had to rely on a specter to get something done. And so I'm going to say power is -1.
Nice.
Also, I will give Grace a debt because Grace did a great job for me today. It helped me out immeasurably. So I'll owe Grace 1 if she ever needs to call in a debt.
Nice. Oh yeah. Write that down. And Eli.
I think Eli learned a little bit more about the Wild faction, working with Zev particularly, and learning perhaps how to coax them into using their abilities for things, and then seeing Zev use the glamour to disguise herself as Felix and everything else. So I think Eli will get a +1 to Wild.
Mm-hmm.
But Eli has not been working with these people, with the mortals, really.
True.
He hasn't really dealt with any mortals. Well, I guess Warren was mortal, but spending a lot of time around the supernaturals. So we'll go ahead and give a -1 to mortality.
Nice. And Zev.
I was originally going to say Night, but I think that she's playing around with her power more. So I would say, because I'm at -1 power.
So for like manifesting your own powers and interacting with them, since you are wild, I would say that would probably make the most sense since you're working within like your wheelhouse.
Okay, so I would go. I'll be at 2 wild, and then she hasn't been working. Well, he is mortal.
So I'd say power is probably a good, would be a decent one because you all haven't really, aside from Izzy, you all haven't really encountered or sought out many people. Well, in Hector.
That's true.
In Hector.
That is true.
I always forget. I'm sorry. I always forget that immortals are power.
Power.
You all haven't seen Hector in a few minutes.
It's very true. Okay, yeah. I'd be at 2 wild and -2 power.
Yeah, very cool. All right, yeah, you all saw so much and did so much. This is sweet. Well,
Heck much.
hecka much. We will be back here with our 6 out of, will be a total of 10 sessions. In 2 weeks on Wednesday the 17th, back here again at 6:30 p.m. PST, where you can find us. Aside from that, next Wednesday, we will have our Venture Maidens episode 25 for you at 6 p.m. PST, where, oh boy, we're continuing our jaunt through Penny Dreadful's dwelling as this arc phase dwelling. And let's see, aside from that, what else? Oh, man, and next week on the 13th, come watch me play Magic the Gathering in the playoffs. Come cheer me on, even if you don't know anything about Magic. As I will seek to become the champion of the Moxable Championship. So, yeah, just, follow me on social media. You'll know where to find all that stuff. But, Becca, tell us about all the cool shit that you're up to.
Oh my god, you guys. Okay, so my artwork will be at Nepantla Cultural Arts Center in Southgate this Saturday. There is a lowrider event. I grew up on that culture. August 20th and 21st will be the Latinos in Tech Hackathon that I'm facilitating, organizing with Latinos in Tech Seattle. So please come to that, promote it, sign up for it. That would be fabulous. And yeah, that's all I got for now. You can follow me at Latina Scribbles. And thanks for watching, y'all. Yeah, go Paula.
JB's next.
Just kidding.
That is
Maybe.
I'm last.
Oh, sorry, y'all.
Hi, everybody. I'm JB. Most of you know me as Drop the Die on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vampire Freaks, the Penguin Club Classic, everywhere. Drop the Die.
Oh, man, I haven't thought about this.
I'm actually going to be playing in a new stream that I would love for you to come and check out, at least for the first episode, just to show some love. It's called Dragons Deep on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. PST at twitch.tv/Time Lord's Wife, all one word. My friend Kayla is running us through Lost Minds of Fandelver, and we've got a really cool collection of extremely weird bastards to put that module through its paces and see if some veteran players can maybe eke out a little bit of extra fun with some strange homebrew and Kayla's particular style of non-Euclidean thinking that always makes her games so fun. Also, I am finishing up the playtests and going to be publishing pretty soon my first little baby tabletop game called Squatch. And it's about Sasquatches coming down from the mountains to pilfer the things that they have been obsessed with of humankind. It was a riot for the first playtest, and the second playtest is coming this week. So if you want to hear more about that, follow me on Twitter. That's going to be your best place to do it. Or join me on Patreon, patreon.com/dropthedie. At the $3 level, you can get 200 one-page adventures for D&D 5e, and you get all of my tabletop games for freezies if you're on there when they release. So it's a good value.
I am Paul Harpring. I can be found on Twitter at Paul_Harpring. I'm the voice of the narrator at the Venture Maidens. So you hear my dulcet tones at the top of every podcast episode that you listen to, doing funny voices and such. I am a cast member of the Crow's Codex, which can be found on Twitter at the Crowdex. And I enjoy painting tiny plastic people, miniatures and models. And those can be found on Instagram at Paul's Plastic Peeps, all one word.
All right, yeah, that's the business. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to give... Oh, thank you, Becca. Be sure to give our channel here a follow. Give us a sub. Gift a sub if you can. And if you are new here tuning in, maybe this is the first episode that you caught of our Urban Shadows campaign, check out our YouTube. We have a catalog of playlists from all of our campaigns that we have streamed over the years, and we conveniently have a Gilded Shadows playlist where you can watch or rewatch all of our episodes. And if you subscribe to our Patreon, these episodes will be uploaded as MP3s for your listening pleasure. But yeah, hit us up on our Discord, check out our Venture Maidens Patreon, and yeah, we will catch you back here in 2 weeks, cool friends, and we will catch you next time.